This video made my day. To see Ken Wheeler talking about consciousness, I mean, everything about this video I love. And all you electric universe people out there, please pay attention to what he's talking about, because you know what the end result of this thinking is? It's good that you're skeptical of physics and everything, but you know what the end result is? It doesn't have anything to do with like free energy or any of that bullshit. It does have to do with improving technology, improving understanding of fields, or whatever you want to call it. You can call it ether, you can call it anything you want, but we all know that physics is wrong, and physics is wrong because of this. It's because of their ontology. They're not really particles. It's field geometry or ether or whatever you want to call it. The end result is understanding of fields, and consciousness is a big part of that. And I think that consciousness is related to electricity or fields or the ether. I think it plays by the same rules as magnetism. Why study magnetism? Because it's like you're studying consciousness. And so all these electric universe people should really get into the philosophy of consciousness. And there's next February in Tucson, Arizona, there's going to be a conference, a big conference like there is every year on consciousness science. And Ken Wheeler has experience with conferences, and this is, I implore him to look into this, because everything he's saying in this video could be a speech given at a consciousness conference. Seriously, and it would be just as good as anyone else's speech there. I guarantee it. There's doctors there, philosophers. It's a big movement, and so yeah, everyone pay attention to this. This is where it's going, and he's talking about monism, and that's important. Science, not too long ago, used to be based off of monism, because Western scientists were Christian not too long ago. And Christianity used to be monist. And what do I mean by monism? It's basic. Just think Buddhism, monism, because pretty much all religions are very similar to Buddhism. And what does that mean? When you're talking about monism in the context of consciousness, you're talking about the collective consciousness. Monism equates to collective consciousness. So it has nothing to do with like free energy or anything. It has to do with how people are influenced by the collective consciousness. That's what it has to do with. And a lot of people, a lot of philosophers agree with that. And so what the issue is right now, today, the issue is how the mechanism of panpsychism, of the collective consciousness. It's called the problem of panpsychism. And every way they describe the issue, it's almost like they're describing magnetism. Okay, that's why this is so important. That's why it's so important that Ken Wheeler is talking about ontology and consciousness, because he's as far as I'm concerned, the expert on magnetism, especially because he's talking about monism. He understands ontology. That's why he's the expert. Okay, anyone can make up anything about fields or whatever, but unless you understand ontology, you're not going to understand the fundamentals of what's going on. So he uses the word ether. It's, you could use whatever word you want, but it's not particles. And when you talk about vortexes, what you're really saying is particles. So it's not particles, it's not vortexes, it's just simply geometry. Like if you see a flower out in nature, that has a spiral pattern. You don't have to describe the flower. You don't have to describe the spiral pattern. Nature has already described the flower. It's already, as it exists, it's already fully described. All you need to do is look at it and perceive it. Say, look at there's a flower, it has a spiral pattern. Boom, you're done. You're done. Okay? And it's geometry. You're just saying, look, there's geometry. That's it. There's nothing more to it. If you add anything to it, that's physicalism or dualism. If you add anything to that, what you're doing is you're creating infinite regress. And that's the problem with every single other ontology. That's why every other ontology does not work, and monism works, is because it doesn't have infinite regress. It just, boom, it's geometry. It ends at one point. And what that means is that you can actually explain things. Things actually make sense. Things are actually logical with monism.